This is a DJBooth.net exclusive interview.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Z, doing it real big, and joining me inside the DJ booth is a Long Island native whose diverse musical stylings capture the attention of some of the industry's most powerful and respected figures. As a result, this past summer, the singer/songwriter/rapper/producer inked a major label deal with Interscope and Polo the Don's Zone 4, and is anxiously awaiting the chance to unveil his debut offering later this year. Please welcome my friend, Jared Evan. How are you?
What up, Z?
Good to talk to you as always. We have featured your work 5 times over the last 4 months, so our readers should be very familiar with the goings-on of your career. But let's backtrack for a second to find out how we all got to right here and now. I read that when you were 11, you were sent off to boarding school for children with behavioral issues. Jared, would you say you were a class clown, a rascal, a troublemaker, or just misunderstood?
I mean, I would say kind of like a mixture of all those things, but, you know, really what it was is like, growing up, I kind of really just didn't care about school. Music was always my escape, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because growing up, it was different music that was my outlet. It was like shit like Led Zeppelin and Jethro Tull and like, you know, ELP and the Beatles and the Doors and stuff like that. You know, I kind of just, that's all I cared about. And because that was all I cared about, I kind of strayed away from the academic thing and really just giving a fuck. Like, I really just didn't care, you know what I mean? And I think that kind of caused, you know, what you were saying about the whole, you know, behavioral thing, and all I cared about my whole life was doing music, and, you know, because my focus was so strong on that, it kind of, like, took me away from being, like, the average, normal, you know, good, hard-working school student.
You know what, though? Who is, these days, the average school student? I think everybody has a passion for something. The only difference is some people go out on that limb and they know what they want to do and they go for it, and others just sit back and let it come to them.
Right. You know, I had this huge dream of being like the next like Keith Moon or John Bonham or like the next dude like on VH1 Behind the Music type thing. And because I was so into that dream, it's just nothing else mattered to me.
Well, lucky for you that dream has almost become a full-fledged reality. You definitely made the right choice. You mentioned the drums. Now, I grew up playing trumpet in band, and 15 years later, I'm interviewing recording artists. You play drums, and you are a recording artist. Clearly, I didn't pick the right instrument. But with that said, what type of role did not only your drum playing, but all of your musical interests early on play in how you sound as an artist right now?
Oh my God, like crazy, man. Like, it's crazy you said that, because really, that's why I sound like I do now. You know, the fact that you can't just box me in as an MC or a rapper or a singer or a songwriter is really because growing up, my foundation of music was all different kinds of music and all different kinds of instruments and just experimenting with, you know what I mean? I'm not like Jimmy Page, you know what I mean? I'm not a classically trained guitar player, but if I pick up a guitar and I make a certain kind of a sound, that to me is being able to play guitar, you know what I mean? That just being able to experiment with instruments and using whatever sound that comes out of those instruments and being able to use them in production or music in any way, you know, that makes you a musician. You know, you couldn't have said it any better, Z. Like, that's really the biggest reason why my music sounds how it sounds now, you know?
Last August, when you first popped up on we'll say a national radar in terms of awareness, what instantly interested me in your music is how distinctively different it sounded. Now, I know a lot of artists, they hate to be labeled or put in that proverbial box, you know, so how do you plan to appeal toward the largest possible audience without associating yourself necessarily with any one specific genre or subgenre?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely, it's hard. You know what I mean? It's definitely difficult for any artist or anybody to do that. But with me, that's just what I am. It's like, I am someone that delves into all different kinds of music. Like why not be able to break that mold and be like, yo, it's really just let Jared do what he does, man. You know, obviously if I drop a freestyle, that's going to attract to obviously more the hip-hop heads and the underground stuff.
Sure.
But if I put out a singing song, that's going to attract to a totally different audience, you know, as long as it's quality and as long as whatever music genre I put out, people gravitate towards it, why not? You know what I mean? If it's quality stuff, let's just run with that.
You mentioned freestyle, and obviously, thank you again for blessing us with entry number 135 in our freestyle series, The Opposite of Singing. You have fun doing that?
Oh man, it was a blast, man. Thank you, Z, for real. Like, that was crazy. Like, you know, I mean, the DJ Booth, I've been a fan, and I've always known about you guys, and you reaching out and asking me to drop for the freestyle series, that was like, damn, like, me, like, that's crazy, man. So thank you. But yeah, man, doing that was just great because, you know, as we were saying, you know, when I do the freestyle thing, that's just fun to me. It's just straight and natural fun. So, like, when I did it, it was just like no holds barred, let me just go in.
You spit the line, honestly, my whole philosophy is not to sell my soul to the devil or anybody else who's going to lie to me. Obviously, you did it a little bit better than I just read it.
Right.
Knowing that major labels, probably for as long as you and I have both been on this earth and then some, often get a bad rap for trying to mold talent into a cookie-cutter sound.
Right.
How comfortable were you during the recording sessions for your forthcoming debut, knowing in the back of your head, I want to do me, I don't want to do what they want, or, according to the line of the freestyle, sell your soul to the devil?
Right, and that's exactly, Z, you couldn't have said it better. That's exactly what that line means, is I never want to be a sellout, I'm never going to be a sellout. But at the same time, you know, obviously in any record label situation, you know, you gotta work with the label, you know what I mean? You have to give them what they want. But, you know, in my case, I'm giving them what they want, but at the same time, it's not watered down cookie cutter shit. It's credible, like, you know what I mean? Like, why not be able to make pop music good music again? You know what I mean? I remember in 1993, I was like 4 years old. You know, the Wu-Tang Clan had a song called Cream, and that was like a radio smash. You know what I mean? And that's one of the most credible hip-hop songs of all time. You know, not speaking on hip-hop, but if I'm singing a song, or if I'm making any kind of radio pop music, you know, why not be able to have that music be credible again and respectable, and people appreciate it from a music standpoint?
It's interesting that you mentioned Wu-Tang's Cash Rules Everything Around Me back from the early 90s, because as an example, it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter what year good music is made.
Right.
If it's good music, it's relevant and sounds just as good 16, 17 years later.
Exactly. And it's stuff that's timeless, you know what I mean? And that's the music I make, you know what I mean? I'm going to give the label what they want because, you know, that's why they sign artists. But I'm not going to give them smash hits that aren't me. And I'm not going to give them smash hits that came from